All right, Greg, this is one of my kind of a favorite topic of mine. Influencers sometimes come in a second, sometimes they come a lifetime. When I speak, a lot of times I talk about my grandfather who came from Kiev with my grandmother, my mom, and aunt into Canada and emigrated there decades ago. And he used to take me for walks in the park in Montreal when I was about 5. And he
Mhm.
spoke to everybody. And one day I asked him, I called him Zeta, I said, "How do you know all these people?" And he said to me, and he pointed to this guy, "See that guy over there?" One day I didn't know him, but I smiled at him and he smiled back at me and came over. And then we were laughing and someone else came over to us. And I'm kind of the story short, but the premise is my 5-year-old brain was saying to me, life's going to be great. You just have to smile at people. It
Mm.
kind of relates to something we talked about before, simplifying or whatever. But these moments happen in your life that stick to you, that influence you in could be a good way or a bad way for that matter, but they stick. And that was one that stuck with me for sure. Can you share with us two or three people that have been influential in your life?
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of people who've been very influential. I mean, my mom and dad
Hmm.
have been extremely influential for me in terms of, the way they give to the world and the way they see the world. So my second brother got married, and he was the first in our family to get married.
Hmm.
I didn't know how they would decide who gets to go to the wedding because our family was big, the circle was wide, the whole neighborhood was in and out of the doors. And so I said to my dad, I said, Dad, how are you going to draw the line? He looked at me and said, line for what, Greg? He said, well, how are you going to draw the line for who goes to Gary's wedding and not? Like, how are you going to make that decision? And he looked at me like kind of disgusted. He's like, Greg, there are no lines. Whoever wants to come is going to come. I was like, what? That was his frame, right? That's the kind of frame he had. And so that openness and that giving is something that has been very influential to me.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Part of what I've had to learn is when to say no, because there are times where I should have said no because it ended up being damaging not saying no. My default is always open and welcome, but learning the other side has been as important as well. And then, other people that have influenced me, and there have been several, like from
Sure.
a professional perspective and personal, just teachers and mentors and folks who have helped me out
Hmm.
and given me breaks, um, have been huge. Like, yeah, so that list is very long.
You ever
Yeah.
see Mr. Holland's Opus, the movie?
I think I have, but I don't recall it.
Richard Dreyfuss, music teacher, makes a
Yep.
big, doesn't think he's really made an impact. His son is, I think, partially deaf or whatnot. If you haven't seen it, it's an older movie, one of Richard Dreyfuss'
Yeah.
early movies. Incredible. Teachers probably don't see the impact they've made about at least 85% of the people that they teach because it goes on and on. Anybody you've never met that you admired that's influenced you in a far way?
Well, there's a lot of spiritual figures who I've read a lot about and influenced me a lot. Everything, obviously Jesus Christ, grew up Christian and Catholic, so Jesus Christ is there, but also Buddha, Mohandas K. Gandhi, Saint Teresa of Avila, Rumi, Lao Tzu. There are a lot of different people who I've read and studied and looked at that have had a lot of influence as well. So those, like that whole kind of gamut has had a lot of influence on me.
Great answers. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.